Hello, everybody. We finally made it to the last assignment. I am going to pretty much just summarize um, about four sections of I'm sorry, four topics of section 11, which we're not going to get to do the whole section. But I'm just going to go ahead and show you how to use the formulas that you have on your reference sheet. These are formulas that for every test that you take, you will have. If you notice, I put a snapshot here of the reference sheet, and notice that you have the SOHCAHTOA, sine, cosine, and tangent. That's one of the formulas that you have in your reference sheet, but this is not something we're going to use right now. You also have the y equals mx plus b, which is the equation of a line. We're not going to use that right now. And you have the slope, point slope formula, which we're not going to use right now. So we're going to focus on the formula that you have, V equals, and V, which stands for volume. Volume is anything that takes up space. Think of a container. If you fill it up with water, if you fill it up with sand, fill it up with anything that has space is volume, okay, which is a little bit different than area. Area is a flat surface. Volume is a three-dimensional shape, and we're gonna go over the different shapes that you're gonna have on how to find the volume. Notice there are um, three base formulas that we're going to focus on, although each formula can be used for different shapes. So I'm going to show you which shapes are the ones that you can use these formulas for, but it's not very difficult, okay? You have to be just very careful that each formula has a different function that you have to do. For example, if we look at this one here, notice it says 1/3. 1/3 means that it is being split by 3. That means that you have to divide by 3. So we're going to go over which shapes you have to do that. You have to divide this by 3. Notice this one here has 4/3. 4/3 is like 1.33 decimal. So remember that the number on the top you multiplied everything first and divided by 3 at the bottom. Okay, so you divide that by 3. So multiply by 4 and then divide by 3. So you got to be very careful with that. The other thing about volume is that it's always going to be cubic. Cubic. Okay. The reason why it's cubic and not square. Square is when you're looking for area, and square is because it's a two-dimensional. That's 2D. And cubic is 3D dimensional. Okay, so you have 3 dimensions. That means it's going to be like if you have centimeter times centimeter times centimeter, that's 3 times. So it's going to have a little 3. So let's say if it's centimeter, it's going to be centimeter cube. Okay, two-dimensional, which is area. If you have centimeter times centimeters, it will be centimeter square because you're only multiplying 2 units by itself. Okay, so let's get to it. Let me take you to the next page. And the next page, this is where I wrote down for you which are the shapes. And I'm going to show you pictures of the shapes also. Okay, so when we have V equals big B times H, the three shapes, there's only three shapes that you use this formula for is rectangular prism, which is just a little box, okay? And I'm going to show you pictures of that too, but I'm just drawing it quickly. A little box. Triangular prism. Triangular prism, you have, it looks, the face of the shape looks like a triangle, okay? And then it's a prism. So it's a prism because it's three-dimensional. Okay, so it looks sort of like this. Okay, so it's a triangle and it's a prism. Then you have a cylinder. In a cylinder, you guys are familiar with a cylinder, which is like a soda can. The just a regular can. That's a cylinder. Okay, we're gonna use this formula here, and in a second, I'm gonna show you how to use it. Then we have the next formula where notice you have big B times the H. And the big B stands for area of the base. And I'm going to show you that again. Area of the base times the height. Okay. This one is area of the base times the height, but then you have to divide it by 3. Okay. And what is it for? It's for pyramids. Now for pyramids, you're going to have different types of pyramids. It could be a rectangular pyramid. It could be a triangular pyramid. It can be um, a square pyramid. It could be anything. It could be a hexagonal. So that's why this big B is important, because you want to find the area of the base. What is the air? What is the base? And you want to find the area. Here, what is the base? What shape is the base? You want to find the area. Okay, so that's basically what the big B stands for. You want to find the area, and then multiply by height, and then divide it by 3. Okay, so you're gonna have pyramids. Notice the pyramids has at the top. How do you know the difference between triangular prism and a pyramid? Is that a pyramid has only one point, okay, which is called the apex at the very top. Okay, there's only one point that joins all the edges of that shape. Okay, so that's how you know if it's a pyramid. Then a cone, same thing. You have a cone that looks, you guys know what a cone looks like. You have the base, which is a circle. Okay, it's a circular base. And notice you have the apex. Okay, so again, we're going to use the same formula. You're going to do area of the base times the height and then divide it by 3 for both shapes. And then you have a sphere, and a sphere is just like a ball. Okay, a regular ball. And basically, all you have to do, notice here is radius. Radius is being multiplied 3 times by itself. So what you're looking for in this case is what is the radius. So let's say if the radius is 4, okay? So you're gonna do, and actually, well, let's leave it as 4. But don't get it confused, because you see the formula here, it says 4 over 3 pi r cubed. So you're going to take 4 multiplied by 3.14 multiplied by 4 times 4 times 4, and that's because the radius is 4, and then divide everything by 3. Okay, so let me take you to the next page, and this page is going to show you examples. And what I recommend is that maybe you want to take pictures. Take pictures of these examples, and maybe that will help you, because here I'm giving you the examples on how to do it. Okay, so let's get to it. All right, so again, the formula is V equals big B times A. Notice here I'm telling you that big B is area of the base. Very important. If you look at this shape, notice it's a rectangular prism. So it's a rectangle. So if I look at the base, and the base is what's at the bottom, it's a rectangle. Okay, it's a rectangle. Now, how do I find the area of a rectangle? Well, the area of a rectangle, remember, is length times width right here. So to find the area is length times width. So here they're telling me that, notice at the top, this length is 45. So this is 45, and the width is 25. So if I do 45 times 25, that's going to give me the area of the base. Okay, and then what comes after that? So I did the big B, then comes the H, which is the height. So the height in this case is 15. Okay, that's how tall it is. So, and that's it. So basically all I'm going to do is area of the base, which is 45 times 25 times 15, which is the height. So basically all you're doing is you're multiplying all 3 units. Okay, so again, this is 45. So you're doing 45 times 25 times 15. And that's how you find the volume of a rectangular prism. Now, triangular prism, again, notice you have a triangular base. Okay, so for the triangle, just remember big B, area of the base, because it's a triangle. How do we find the area of a triangle? Well, you're going to multiply the base times the height, right? So that's 8 times 3. But then we're gonna, remember, you have to divide that by 2 because it's half. Area of a triangle is, you have to divide it by 2. So once you divide that by 2, so 8 times 3 is 24. Divide that by 2, which is half, it will give you 12. Okay, 12 centimeters. So that's the big B. Then you multiply by the height. And what is the height here? The height is 12. So you're going to do 8 times 3, take half of that, and then times 12, and that gives you area of the, I'm sorry, the volume of a triangular prism. And that's it. Okay, notice you don't have to divide this by 3 or anything because it's a prism. Okay, so it's just area of the base times the height, and that's it. The next shape is a cylinder, a regular can. Okay, a cylinder, if we go at the big B is area of the base. Well, if we look at the base for the cylinder, it's a circle. Okay, if you remember, how do we find the area of a circle? The area of a circle is A equals pi r squared. Okay, so this is how you find the area of a circle. So we need the radius, in this case is 5. You got to be very careful here that notice this is the radius. If you have a line that goes all the way across, that's not the radius, that will be the diameter. So you got to divide it by 2. In this case, it's 5. Okay, so the radius is 5. So you're going to do area of the base. So we're going to use 3.14. Notice right here, 3.14, which is pi. The radius is 5. So you're going to do 5 times 5 twice. And then what comes after the big B? We have h, which is the height. And the height of this cylinder is 10. And that's it. So you go ahead and do 3.14 times 5 times 5 times 10. And that's how you find the volume of the cylinder. Okay, so once again, these are the three shapes that you have to use. Volume equals big B times H. Big B stands for area of the base. Please keep that in mind. Okay, so that takes care of the first formula that we have on the reference sheet. Now let's go to the next one. And the next one that we have is, and this is not it, this is surface area. There we go, volume. Okay, this is volume for, again, notice how the formula changes now. This is how to find the volume for two shapes, which is the pyramid, okay, pyramid, and a cone. Now, notice here I have rectangular pyramid because the base is a rectangle. Notice here how I have triangular, and this is a triangular pyramid, right? And that's because the base is a triangle. So again, how does the formula changes for this one is that you still got to do area of the base, that's the big B, multiply by the height, but then you have to divide by 3. Okay, that's why you have 1/3. So area of the base times the height, and you're going to divide it by 3. So let's take the rectangular pyramid. So I'm going to find big B, which is area of the base. So if I do that, the big B, notice the length times the width, length times width, which is 10 times 8 right here. Okay, so area of the base, that's the big B, 10 times 8. Then I'm done with the B. Now I got to do the height, and the height in this case, notice they show you that is 6. Okay, so 10 times 8 times 6. And then what comes after that? We have to take 1/3, which means you have to divide everything by 3. And that's how you find the volume. Okay, if we do the cone, is the same thing. Notice the base though, the base again is a circle, so I have to use the area, the big B, area of a circle, which is pi r square, right? So we have pi r square. Notice the radius here is 2, so notice I have 2, that's square. Pi is 3.14. And then I got to multiply by the height, which is 8. And then I have to divide everything by 3. Notice you have the 3 right there. Okay, divide everything by 3. And that's it. That gives you the volume for the cone. Now, if we go to triangular pyramid, then what we have now is we have area of the base. That's the big B. So it's a triangle. So we have, that could be the base. This could be the height. Notice they give you this 90 degrees, so that's area and the base and the height. You multiply those two, but because it's area of a triangle, remember we have to divide it by 2. So you divide that by 2. That gives you the area of the base, the bottom. Then multiply by the height. And in this case, they show you that the height is 18. So the height is 18. So you're going to do here, base, and the height divided by 2, multiply by the height 18, and then we're going to do is divide it by 3. Okay, divide everything by 3. All right. Now, again, keep that in mind because we're doing volume. It's going to be If we're talking about centimeters, it's going to be centimeters cube. Okay. If we're talking about inches, it's going to be cubic. Okay. Or cubic inches. And here will be cubic centimeters. Here will be cubic inches. Cubic. Remember the cubic, not square. All right. And now let's get to the last one. The last formula, which has to do on how to find the volume of a sphere. Now, this is very, very simple. Um, we have that the formula for the volume of a sphere is 4 over 3 pi r cubed. Okay, so very simple. So here they give you the whole line, which is the diameter is 2.2. Notice though, what I need is the radius. Okay, so the radius is going to be half of that, which is going to be 1.1. So all you have to do is, in this case, we'll do 4 times 3.14, okay, 3.14 times the radius, which is 1.1, times 1.1 times 1.1, because you got to do it 3 times, and then everything divided by 3. And that's it. That's will give you the volume of a sphere. This is how you do the sphere. It's very simple. Um, and that's all. Okay. So your work is going to be, I made up a worksheet. There are problems from IXL, which are very, very easy. But again, I recommend that you have these formulas handy. Look at the examples that I have in this presentation, and you cannot go wrong. This is the last assignment for the school year. Okay, so congratulations, you guys made it through difficult times. And that's it. It was a pleasure having you guys, and I will be seeing you soon.